You open your eyes to a sky that doesn't look like any sky you know. It's not the warm glow of your bedroom ceiling, not the gentle hum of air conditioning or the distant traffic outside your window. There's no sound, just silence, and the low, haunting rustle of wind across grass that feels too damp, too close. Your back aches. Something cold presses against your spine. The ground? Blinking, you reach out to steady yourself, but instead of a blanket or a mattress, your palm sinks into wet soil. Sharp stones bite into your skin. There's no bed here, no walls, no roof. The realization doesn't hit you all at once. It creeps, like fog rising from the forest floor. You're not at home. You're not even in a world you understand. The air smells strange. Earthy, yes, but not in the way a park smells after rain. It's rawer, like the inside of a cave or a fresh wound, a mix of moss, dampness, and something wild you can't name. You sit up slowly. Your body feels exposed, vulnerable. You look down. Your clothes are unfamiliar, primitive, ragged, not something you remember putting on. Your hands tremble as you touch the fabric, coarse and rough against your skin. Panic swells in your chest. Where's your phone? The thought bursts in like instinct. You pat your side, your pockets, nothing. No phone, no wallet, no keys, no buzzing in your ear, no glow of notifications. Just wind, just the sound of your breath speeding up. You're alone, but not in the comforting sense of solitude. You're alone like an animal dropped into the wrong forest. You stand, but even that feels off. The earth shifts beneath your feet. It's uneven, rocky, damp. Your bare soles protest with every step. The sky above is clouded, a smudged gray canvas with no hint of the familiar contrails of jets or the faint glimmer of satellites. Just emptiness. No smoke, no wires, no signs of life. You spin around. Maybe you fell. Maybe it's a prank or a dream you'll snap out of if you close your eyes tightly enough. But when you do, the silence only grows louder. And when you open them again, nothing changes. You are still here. It's then that your brain, desperate for explanation, begins to scan for logic. The rational part of you starts whispering suggestions. You're lost in the woods, maybe hit your head, but that doesn't explain the absence of man-made anything. No wrappers, no fences, no trash, nothing human, at least not the kind you know. You move forward, not knowing where you're going, just needing to do something, anything. Trees loom in the distance, tall and twisted, not neatly spaced like in a city park, but wild and uneven. The terrain dips into shallow slopes, rises into knotted hills. The grass is taller than you remember grass ever being. Each step becomes more difficult, as if the ground itself is resisting you. Then it hits you. The deeper truth, not a dream, not a trick, not a glitch in the matrix. You're somewhere else, not just geographically, not just lost. You're in another time. The thought is impossible, and yet it's the only one that fits. You drop to your knees and run your hands through the dirt. No bottle caps, no tire marks, not even a broken twig from a manufactured shoe, just the raw planet, untouched, as if it's never known asphalt or steel. The panic returns with a vengeance. How do you get back from a time before time? What rules apply here? You try to calm yourself, breathing slowly, grounding your thoughts. But your mind rebels. Your whole life has been one long comfort zone. Climate-controlled, screen-filled, GPS-guided. This is chaos, you shout out once, twice. No response. Then a bird call, shrill, unfamiliar. Not the kind you've ever heard before. It echoes too long. You freeze. Are you being watched? Your brain races to analyze everything. No buildings, no tools, no evidence of culture, technology, or language. And yet, the primal part of you knows you're not the apex predator here. You're not even a participant in the ecosystem. You're a mistake, a drop of the future in a sea of the ancient. You keeps walking. Because what else is there to do? Trees whisper overhead, branches clawing at the sky like fingers. Every sound is alien. Every sensation is exaggerated. You can feel the heat in your scalp, the cold in your toes, the itch of grass on your ankles. You've never been this awake in your life, and never more afraid. Suddenly, a sharp sting on your leg. You slap at it. A bug? No, something worse. You look down and see a welt already forming. Venomous? Infected? You don't know. And you have nothing to treat it with. No antiseptic, no bandage, not even clean water. You're in a world without instructions, without updates, without second chances. The light begins to shift. Is that the sun moving? It's hard to tell. There's no watch, no clock. Just your body, already exhausted, though the day has barely started. And that's when the final realization claws its way into your thoughts. You don't belong here, not just as a visitor, not as a time traveler. You don't belong because everything you are, your reflexes, your assumptions, your comforts, none of it matters here. The Stone Age doesn't care about your degree, your bank account, or your morning routine. It doesn't wait for you to adapt. It simply is, and you are simply unprepared. You're not in control anymore, and the day has only just begun. Your body starts to speak before your mind can catch up. The shiver doesn't begin with a tremble. It erupts with a jolt that runs through your bones, starting from your feet and moving upward in waves that tighten every muscle. Your soles, already raw from contact with sharp roots and unkind stone, begin to throb with each step as the cold bites deeper. This isn't the sort of chill that you brush off or ignore. It's the kind that settles into your joints and reminds you that your skin was never designed to walk unshielded across this kind of terrain. You try to shift your weight onto your heels to lessen the sting, but it's useless. Everything underfoot punishes you equally. There's no mercy here, not even from the earth. Wind slithers through the gaps in your clothing, such as they are, thin, unfamiliar materials that offer no warmth, no protection, no modern weave to shield you. They feel like they belong to someone else, someone from another life, or worse, like they were never made for warmth in the first place. The fabric clings to your damp skin, making every movement more miserable. Then come the stings. First, you think you've been cut again, but the sensation spreads in small pinpoints. Mosquitoes, biting flies, or things you can't name. You slap blindly at your arms, your neck, your legs, but they keep coming. There is no barrier between you and this relentless swarm of microscopic attackers. Each sting is a reminder that your skin, too, is foreign to this place. You glance around, desperately searching for anything that resembles shelter. A hollow in a tree, an outcrop of rock, a cave, but there is nothing. Just endless terrain, uneven and stretching, filled with undergrowth you don't recognize. You don't know which plants might cause a rash, which might cut you, which might even poison you just from a brush against your leg. You begin to move, not towards something, but away from nothing. You need to feel as if you're trying. Instincts, dulled by years of convenience, begin to stir in the background. Not strong enough to guide you, but just enough to warn. Cover yourself, protect your warmth, hide. But hide where? Every path seems the same. Mud-slick trails between trees that seem to close in behind you the moment you pass. Branches snag at your arms, scrape across your face. Your feet squish into wet patches, then stumble across jutting rocks. You fall once, twice, catching yourself with your hands, which are quickly caked with muck. There's no towel, no sink, no way to clean them. The mud begins to dry in place, cracking across your skin like some ancient armor you never asked for. The ache in your body deepens. Your shoulders, unaccustomed to carrying your own weight over such rugged terrain, begin to burn. Your knees protest every crouch, every lean forward. You wipe sweat from your brow, only to realize it's mixed with grime. There is no way to feel clean, no way to feel safe. The world feels wrong in every direction, not just different, hostile. Every part of it seems designed to remind you of how unfit you are to survive even an hour here, let alone a full day. You pause to catch your breath, but the air itself is thick with particles, dust, spores, who knows what else. You inhale, and it stings a little. There's a scent to this place, hard to describe. Not rot, not quite life. Just raw, unfiltered nature, the kind that hasn't been softened by generations of human interference. It gets into your nostrils, into your mouth, sticks to the back of your throat. It tastes like something old, untouched, and indifferent to you. A noise breaks the stillness, not loud, but unmistakable. A cracking of something behind you, twig or bone you can't tell. You turn sharply, adrenaline flooding in, but there's nothing there, or maybe there was. The emptiness itself feels charged, like a space recently occupied. You're not sure whether you should run, crouch, climb, or freeze. You choose to move, pushing yourself forward again, but now every sound is magnified. Every whisper of wind through grass sounds like a step. Every flutter of leaves makes your heart knock against your ribs. The deeper you move into this world, the more it presses in. There's no open space, no clearing where you can rest. Everything is dense, tangled, uneven. Even the light seems to betray you, filtering through the canopy above in scattered, unpredictable shafts. Your eyes strain to adjust. You keep looking up, hoping for the familiar outline of a road sign, a telephone pole, anything. But it's just sky and shadow. The ground grows more difficult as you descend into a shallow ravine, the earth slick and soft beneath your feet. You slide once, landing on your side. The pain flashes through your hip, dull and deep. There's no ice pack, no painkillers, just grit between your teeth and a groan that disappears into the air. You try to rise, but your limbs are tired. Already, you've been here less than half a day, and your muscles scream with the kind of fatigue you didn't know was possible. You push yourself up anyway, because what's the alternative? Lying here, waiting for something to find you? No. You move on, slower now, each step a negotiation between pain and necessity. Your breath comes harder. The cold never really left you. It just nested deeper. The wind isn't constant, but when it rises, it slices through the foliage and cuts across your exposed skin like a blade. Somewhere in the back of your mind, you start to wonder what time it is. Noon? Early afternoon? There's no way to know. The sun, when you can see it, seems to hang unmoving in the sky, and the trees offer no reliable clock. Your body isn't calibrated to this kind of experience. You can't tell if it's been hours or just minutes. All you know is that you're exhausted and hungrier than you expected. But there's nothing edible in sight. The berries you passed earlier might kill you. The leaves could cause a fever. You don't know the rules of this place, and guessing might be fatal. You settle for nothing, hoping your body can last. But it won't. Not without consequence. There is no comfort in motion, and no safety in stillness. Every moment is a choice between risk and pain, and all you can do is keep moving, even as the world continues to remind you you were never meant to be here. At first, it's just a dryness at the back of your throat, the kind you'd normally fix with a quick sip from a bottle or a cup pulled from the nearest machine. You try to swallow it away, but the feeling lingers. It spreads slowly, subtly, like a warning written in invisible ink. Your lips start to crack without you realizing it. Your tongue feels heavier, as if coated in dust. You'd trade almost anything right now for a mouthful of clean water. But there is no faucet, no plastic bottle sweating in your bag. There's only the wilderness, silent and unmoved by your discomfort. You pause to look around, suddenly seeing your surroundings through new eyes. Before, everything looked like danger. Now you're searching for something that might help. Anything. A stream, a pond, even a puddle. You spot a patch of damp earth, flecked with green moss, and a shallow indentation filled with rainwater, or something that looks like it. You kneel beside it, hoping for clarity, but the surface is clouded with silt, specks of who knows what drifting lazily in the brownish murk. You hesitate. Is it safe? You have no filter, no purification tablets, no way to boil it. In your world, this would be the last thing you'd touch. But here, your choices are evaporating faster than the moisture on your skin. Your hand hovers above the pool. You imagine drinking it. You imagine the relief. But then you imagine the aftermath. The stomach cramps, the fever, the weakness. Infections don't care that you're not from here. In fact, they count on it. You pull your hand back, cursing silently, and stand up again. The thirst doesn't subside. It deepens, turning into a craving that twists your thoughts. You try to swallow again and feel how little saliva remains. Your throat is dry sandpaper, your head starting to pound. This isn't just discomfort. This is the slow beginning of breakdown. You move on, this time slower. Your mind, already frayed, starts playing games. You begin to notice how your body aches in places it didn't before. The burn in your calves, the stiffness in your back, the dizziness that creeps in when you stand still too long. You can't focus. Everything seems to pulse in and out of clarity. You think of food, not a feast, not even a warm meal, just a piece of bread, a single apple. The idea consumes you, and you look at the trees with new desperation. Is that a fruit, or just a bulbous fungus waiting to poison you? You reach up to examine it, but stop mid-motion. What if it's the last thing you ever touch? You have no knowledge of edible plants, no training in what grows wild. You know menus, not survival. Every possibility around you, berries, leaves, the roots, offers both nourishment and danger. They look alike, these ancient plants. The line between what heals and what harms is too thin for someone like you to walk. You can only stare, then walk away, stomach groaning in protest. You try to distract yourself, focus on something else. But the more you walk, the more your energy fades. The hunger isn't sharp anymore. It's dull and sinking, like a stone lodged somewhere beneath your ribs. You feel lightheaded, and your vision flickers at the edges. You keep telling yourself, just find water, then food. Just survive this hour. But time feels elastic now, stretching and snapping unpredictably. You don't know how long it's been. Hours? Half a day? All you know is that you're weaker than before, and there's no sign that help is coming, or that help ever existed here to begin with. In your world, hunger was a word that meant skipping lunch. Thirst meant forgetting your bottle at home. Here, they're entirely different creatures. Hunger doesn't whisper, it gnaws. Thirst doesn't ask, it burns. They don't arrive with sirens, don't make grand entrances. They settle in quietly, growing more powerful with each moment you fail to find what you need. And they don't care that you're lost or scared or trying. You stumble again, this time not from terrain but from sheer lack of fuel. Your legs drag behind your intentions. You lean against a tree for balance, but even the bark feels hostile, scratching at your fingers. There's nothing soft here, nothing easy. You close your eyes for a second and picture a glass of cold water, the kind that beads on the outside, ice cubes clicking gently, condensation leaving rings on a desk. It's so vivid it almost hurts. But when you open your eyes, there's only forest and silence and a need growing sharper by the minute. It dawns on you that your body is not adapting, it's failing. It doesn't know how to conserve energy here. It expects food every few hours, hydration on demand, salt, sugar, calories. You were never taught to suffer long enough to endure this. Not really. And no matter how strong your will might be, your biology is catching up fast. Somewhere you think you hear water, a distant trickle. Maybe your mind made it up, maybe not. You turn toward the sound, half limping now, your steps uneven, your eyes fixed ahead. Whatever lies in that direction, clean or not, safe or not, it might be your only hope. And hope, in a place like this, is a resource even scarcer than food. The quiet has weight now. It presses against your ears in a way you've never felt before, not like the comforting hush of early morning or the distant calm of an empty road. This silence feels stretched, tense, as if the entire world is holding its breath. And then, without warning, it snaps. A sharp crack tears through the air behind you, the unmistakable sound of something stepping on dry wood. You freeze, not by choice, but because every muscle in your body suddenly forgets how to move. You don't turn around right away. Your brain races through possibilities. A branch falling, an animal walking, but this didn't sound random. It wasn't the casual scatter of wind-blown leaves. It was deliberate, slow, heavy. You finally look back, heart pounding, but see nothing, just trees and the shifting light between them. Yet the air has changed. It's no longer empty. It feels watched. Then come the calls, high, shrill, jagged. Birds perhaps, but not the ones you know. Their sounds are more desperate, a little less melodic. They echo off the trees with strange timing, bouncing unpredictably from branch to branch. One lets out a harsh screech, and for a second you think it's warning something or someone. You realize uncomfortably that you're not sure if they're even birds at all. A rustle cuts across your left side, then another behind you again. Low to the ground this time. You spin too quickly, your feet sliding on damp leaves, arms flailing for balance. Again, nothing in sight, but your breath quickens. Your limbs stiffen. Instinct is beginning to overrule thought. You start to move forward, faster now, not running but walking with intent. You don't know where you're going, but staying still feels worse. As you move, you notice the patterns, branches snapping too cleanly, leaves parting without wind. Something else is out there. Maybe one thing, maybe many. And whatever it is, it knows this world far better than you do. You hear a low sound, not loud enough to be a roar, not high enough to be a growl. It's almost like breathing, but heavier. Not yours. Something is close. You clench your fists, then release them. You have no weapon, not even a stick. Your only tools are fear and adrenaline, and neither of them can cut or pierce or protect. The forest, which just hours ago seemed indifferent, now feels alive with threat. Every bush could be hiding something. Every shadow could be eyes. And the most terrifying part? You wouldn't know until it was too late. Your mind tries to rationalize. Maybe it's just a harmless animal, a deer, a boar, something more afraid of you than you are of it. But there's no comfort in those thoughts because you've never seen these animals before. Not here, not in this version of the world. Evolution has taken a step back, and you've taken a step too far forward. You don't fit. You pause near a tree, pressing your back against its bark, hoping it might provide some cover. Your breathing is shallow now, forced. You listen, but the sounds have changed again. Now it's quiet, not the silence from earlier, but a different kind. A calculated stillness, like everything has stopped moving to let something else pass. You scan the tree line, every shadow a potential shape. Your eyes dart, your heart pounds louder than your footsteps ever did. Suddenly, something darts across your peripheral vision, small, fast, low to the ground, gone in a blink. You gasp, stumbling backward, nearly tripping over a root. Whatever it wasn't interested in you, but it didn't matter. It reminded you of a truth that had been lurking just behind your fear. You're not alone out here. And worse, you're not a threat. You're not a hunter. Not here. You don't belong among the trees, or under this sky, or on this ground. In this world, your shape, your scent, your every move screams unfamiliarity. You're too slow, too soft, too noisy. You can't climb well, can't hear sharply, can't see in the dark. You're visible, vulnerable, wrong. Another sound, this time closer. A wet shuffle, like something dragging. You don't even try to find the source. You just start moving again, faster than before. Your feet crash through the undergrowth, snapping twigs, leaving marks. You know you're making noise, but silence feels like death. Movement is the only thing keeping panic from turning into paralysis. The trees seem to tighten around you. The light dims. Maybe it's the approaching evening, or maybe your eyes are playing tricks, but everything feels heavier. You keep going, even as your legs begin to tremble, even as your lungs beg for rest. Because the moment you stop, you know the world will catch up. You glance over your shoulder one more time, breath uneven, chest rising and falling like waves in a storm. And in that moment, one simple, dreadful truth settles into the pit of your stomach. You are not at the top of this food chain. You are not even near it. Your hands move automatically, reaching for pockets that hold nothing. The gesture is so familiar, so deeply ingrained, that for a second it doesn't register that there's no phone, no screen lighting up, no reassuring vibration to tell you that you're still connected to something larger than yourself. There's no GPS blinking on a map, no signal bars promising help just one call away. Just your fingers touching worn fabric and cold skin. You pat your sides again, irrationally, as if the device might appear out of thin air, but it doesn't. The silence is too complete, too real. You are alone here, not just physically, but digitally, informationally, existentially alone. You glance up, scanning the sky, hoping to orient yourself by the sun, but it's a dull smear behind fast-moving clouds, giving no hint of direction. You think about moss on trees, about the myths you once read about how to navigate in the wild, but none of it helps. Every tree here is covered in bark and mystery. You have no compass, no app, no voice in your ear telling you where to go. Just endless green and brown in every direction. Your thoughts grow louder in the void left by missing notifications. Normally, you'd type a question, snap a photo, open a browser, and within seconds know what to do. How to purify water, how to build a fire, how to identify safe food. But now, the realization lands hard. Without your tools, your knowledge is scattered, shallow, and helpless. All those digital skills, all that instant access, vanish the moment the battery dies, or in this case, never existed. You pick up a rock, half from instinct, half from desperation. Its weight is real, cold, rough against your skin. This, at least, is tangible. You turn it over, wondering how people once used these for tools. There's no app that teaches you this by osmosis. You strike it against another stone clumsily, hoping for a spark. Nothing. You try again, still nothing. You don't know the angle, the pressure, the technique. It's not as simple as it looks in a documentary. You're swinging blind, and the stone just stares back at you, indifferent. Frustration boils in your chest, not just because it's hard, but because you were never taught. Technology gave you the illusion of control, of preparedness, but it never gave you resilience. You had everything at your fingertips, and now that you're forced to rely on your hands, they feel alien, soft, clumsy, untrained. You don't know how to make rope from bark, or which tree sap can be burned as fuel. You don't know how to read the ground, or smell the weather, or listen to birds as a warning system. You were never meant to survive here, not like this. You think about lighting a fire, and suddenly realize just how many steps you're missing. No flint, no steel, no matches, no lighter, no glass lens, nothing. You rub sticks together, your palms burning almost instantly, the friction too uneven. Smoke doesn't come, heat doesn't build, only the sting of splinters and the creeping sense of failure. You sit back, breathless, your hands sore and useless. Fire was once a tool in your pocket. Now it's a ghost, and you have no way to summon it. Even the concept of time starts to erode. Without a watch, without a screen to remind you of the hour, the minutes stretch into something abstract. The sun moves slowly, but you can't track it. Your body begins to feel like the only clock, and it's not reliable. Hunger pulls one way, thirst another. Fatigue tugs from below. You try to estimate how long you've been walking, wandering, surviving. But numbers don't mean anything here. Only need does. You remember how often you checked your phone without thinking, when bored, when nervous, when lost. That simple action brought the world to you. News, maps, faces, answers. Now you reach for a tool that doesn't exist, and the world doesn't shrink to your palm. It expands around you like a massive, unknowable force. You pass a fallen tree and pause, wondering if it could serve as shelter. But you don't know how to test its safety. You remember videos of people building forest cabins, intricate traps, stone ovens. But those videos had editing, planning, resources. You have none of that. You only have fragments in your memory and no way to fill in the gaps. It's not even a lack of courage, it's a lack of foundation. You press forward again, but each step is heavier. Not just from hunger or fear, but from the collapse of a belief you didn't know you had, that being smart and modern was enough, that being connected made you capable. But here, in this place where the sky tells no secrets and the earth gives nothing freely, you are a beginner, not just in survival, but in existence itself. The very concept of mastery has been stripped from you. All that remains is effort, uncertainty, and the slow, sobering truth that even with all the knowledge of the world in your hands, it means nothing when your hands are empty. The cold has crept beneath your skin now, not as a sudden shock, but as a constant crawling presence that numbs and tightens everything it touches. Your limbs feel heavy, your jaw refuses to unclench, and your thoughts begin to fracture under the weight of your own trembling. You've never truly understood how cold the world could be until this moment, until you realized there was no thermostat to twist, no switch to flip, no warm light behind a closed door to retreat to. This is the kind of cold that doesn't ask, it takes. You crouch near a patch of bare ground, already bruised and stiff, and start gathering anything that resembles tinder. Dry twigs, brittle leaves, shredded bark, all unfamiliar in texture and purpose, all gathered with the nervous hands of someone who doesn't really know what comes next. You remember stories, documentaries, perhaps even a tutorial you once half watched while scrolling through something else. 2 sticks, friction, a spark, fire. But now that you're here, the gap between knowledge and survival stretches wide and merciless. You pick up 2 pieces of wood and begin to rub them together. At first, it feels like action, like progress. But minutes pass and nothing happens. No smoke, no warmth, no sign that you're even close. Your hands are already sore from earlier attempts, but you keep going, more from panic than hope. You try different angles, different pressure. You grind one into the other until your palms burn, but all you produce is dust. Not the good kind, not the kind that ignites, just useless powder scattered by the wind. Your breath becomes louder in your ears, heavier. Each exhale curls in the air before you, in faint mist. The sky has shifted again, growing dimmer by the minute. The forest around you darkens, not suddenly but steadily, as if someone is turning a dial. You look up and see the light draining out of the day, pooling into shadows that stretch long and slow across the earth. And still, you have no fire. You try another method, stones this time. You remember vaguely that sparks can come from striking rocks together. You search the ground, find 2 that feel solid and jagged. You sit cross-legged, trying to hold them steady despite the shaking in your arms. The first strike sends a vibration through your wrist, but nothing else. You try again and again, slamming them with increasing force, hoping for that single miraculous glint of heat. Your hands begin to ache from the repeated impact. The rocks scrape skin. The cold deepens. No spark, just bruises. You stop, finally, and stare at the rocks in your hands as if they've betrayed you. The truth is simpler and more brutal. You don't know how. Not just how to make fire, but how to wait for it, how to struggle toward it, how to fail and still believe it's worth trying again. Your muscles weren't built for this labor. Your patience wasn't trained to endure this silence. You glance around, imagining for a moment what a flicker of flame would look like here, in this place. The light dancing across the bark of trees, the warmth slowly returning to your numb fingers, the smoke rising in soft threads into the evening air. But imagination is all it is. The world before you remains stubbornly unchanged. The air is colder now, and your bones know it. There will be no heat tonight, not unless something shifts, not unless you find a miracle. You pace, hoping motion might generate warmth, but it doesn't, not enough. The chill is in you now. It's inside your spine, wrapped around your lungs. You slap your arms, try to rub your skin, bounce in place, anything to delay what's coming. But the body's fuel is finite, and you've used most of it already. In your mind, you remember fire as a background element, a symbol, a luxury. It was aesthetic, candlelight dinners, campfire songs, cozy nights by the fireplace. It was atmosphere. Now it is necessity, and you can't make it. The most ancient human achievement, the cornerstone of survival, and you can't summon it. You realize that fire isn't just about heat. It's about security, about light in darkness, about being seen by something friendly and unseen by everything else. Without it, the dark owns you. The sky darkens further. There's no twilight here, no soft descent into night. The trees blot out what little color remains above. Shadows grow heavier, pressing in from every side. You sit again, not because you want to, but because your legs won't hold you anymore. The stones rest in your lap, useless and cold. And then you hear the world change around you. The day sounds fade, birds quiet, insects shift to a different rhythm. Something deeper begins to stir, not danger yet, but the possibility of it. The forest is transforming, shedding its daylight skin for something older and less forgiving. And you sit there, shivering, surrounded by pieces of a fire you don't know how to build, waiting for a night you're not ready to face. The darkness arrives without ceremony, without warning, without even the courtesy of a sunset. One moment, the forest is merely dim, the colors muted, and the air thick with dusk. The next, it is swallowed whole by blackness, so complete it feels alive. This isn't the night you know, the kind softened by the hum of streetlights, the faint glow of windows, or the hazy dome of light pollution. This is a night that existed before electricity, before civilization, before safety, and it consumes everything. You sit motionless, unable to see even your own hands. The outlines of the trees have vanished. The sky above, once a shifting canvas of gray and blue, is now just another layer of black. There is no moon, no stars, only dark upon dark. It's not just what your eyes can't find, it's what your mind can't process. The absence of light is so total, it feels like pressure, like weight on your chest. Your breath sounds too loud, your heartbeat even louder. With sight taken from you, your other senses sharpen cruelly. Every whisper of wind through the leaves becomes a voice. Every creak of wood, a presence. Every shifting shadow, though you can't see it, is something to fear. The forest begins to speak in a new language. Insects chirp in erratic patterns. Branches creak as unseen things move overhead. Leaves rustle nearby, and you're certain something is brushing against them, but the pitch black curtain around you hides everything. You strain to listen, to distinguish friend from foe, predator from harmless movement, but you realize quickly that you can't. You don't know what any of these sounds mean. You were never taught this dialect of survival. The cold becomes something else entirely. It is no longer just physical discomfort. It is an invading force. It seeps beneath your skin, settles between your ribs, coils around your spine. Your fingers twitch without your permission. Your toes lose sensation altogether. You try to curl tighter, tucking your arms close, but nothing helps. Your clothes offer no insulation, and the earth beneath you is a thief, pulling what little warmth you have into its bones. Even your thoughts begin to slow, as if the cold is numbing your mind along with your limbs. You want to sleep, not out of comfort, but from exhaustion, from escape. But sleep won't come. Not here, not now. Your body refuses to shut down in this level of vulnerability. Every time you close your eyes, the darkness behind your eyelids feels identical to the one outside, and your imagination begins to fill the void. Images of glowing eyes, of crawling shapes, of ancient things that once ruled this place and never left. Sleep requires a margin of safety, and there is none. There is only waiting. You whisper to yourself just to hear a voice. The sound feels fragile, too soft to fight off what presses in from the dark. There is no light to define the space around you, no flame to keep watch. You think of the fire you failed to make earlier, and the regret lands like a blow. That single spark could have pushed back against this void, but you couldn't summon it. And now, there's nothing left to protect you from the night's reach. Time stretches into something unrecognizable. Seconds feel like hours, and hours feel like a trap. There is no clock, no rhythm, no event to mark the passing of time. Only your own discomfort, your own pain, your own thoughts looping endlessly. You don't know how long you've been sitting like this, but your legs have gone numb and your skin feels damp from the cold. Every once in a while, a sharp noise jolts you upright. A crack, a snort, a distant howl. None of them familiar, all of them terrifying. You want morning, you want the sky to break open and wash this world with even the faintest hint of color. But morning feels like a myth, a story told in the warmth of another life. Here, in this place, night feels eternal. You begin to understand how ancient humans feared the dark, not just for what it might contain, but for what it could become. A trap, a sentence, a slow erasure of identity and reason. You bury your face in your arms, teeth clenched, and try to wait. That's all you can do. There's no moving forward. There's no path out. There's only endurance, and the question of how much longer you can keep going, surrounded by a darkness that has no edge and a cold that has no mercy. The sound comes quietly at first, barely more than a shift in the undergrowth, a rhythm out of place in the natural drone of the night. But your ears, sharpened by hours of waiting and fear, catch it immediately. It's too deliberate to be wind, too heavy to be a bird, too rhythmic to be a random fall of branches. Steps, slow, cautious, calculated, something with intention. You hold your breath, instinct overriding logic. Whatever is moving out there isn't curious, it's confident. Your eyes, long adjusted to the darkness, strain in the direction of the sound, but the black offers no detail, only a sense of presence, of movement, of something approaching. You try not to move, not to rustle the leaves around you, but even your heartbeat feels like thunder now. The footsteps continue, closer, then they stop. Silence returns, but it's a different kind now, charged, anticipatory. You sense it before you see it. A shadow against shadows, a figure not of mist or fear, but of flesh and muscle, tall but not towering, human shaped, but somehow not human in the way you are. The silhouette doesn't shift nervously, doesn't hesitate. It just stands there, watching. Then slowly, it moves again, circling, not directly approaching, assessing. You realize with a cold certainty that this isn't the gaze of a passerby or the eyes of someone surprised. This is evaluation, as if you're being measured against something. Worth, threat, usefulness. You feel it instantly, how you must look to this creature of the wild, weak, lost, exposed. As the figure steps forward into a sliver of ambient moonlight, you finally see enough to confirm your dread. It is a man, but unlike any man you've met. His posture is unyielding, shoulders squared like carved stone, movements purposeful and honed. His skin is roughened by wind and sun, not for aesthetic but by necessity. His hair is coarse and matted, his body lean and sinewed, shaped not by gym equipment but by survival. He holds something in one hand, a club, a spear, maybe both. Nothing crafted for beauty, only for function. He stops a few paces away and stares, not with fear or hostility, but with cold curiosity. You rise slowly, your hands open, unsure whether to speak, to gesture, or to run. But none of those feel right. Nothing you know applies here. The man doesn't flinch. He doesn't mirror your openness. Instead, he tilts his head slightly, as if trying to make sense of what he's seeing. Not your face, but your presence, your softness, your confusion. You try to speak, one word, maybe your name, maybe a plea, but the sound that comes out feels small and artificial, useless. He doesn't respond. He just stares a little longer, then looks past you, as if already losing interest. You realize then that he doesn't recognize you as one of his own, not even close. To him, you are an intruder, a misfit, something that doesn't belong in this order of things. You step back, and he steps forward. Not threatening, but firm. The ground beneath you feels suddenly looser, less reliable. The trees seem to lean away, as if even they know you're not meant to stand here. You try again, another word, slower this time, but still, nothing reaches him. Your language is noise. Your movements are awkward. Every instinct you have is misaligned with his reality. The man lifts his arm slightly, not as a threat, but as a warning, as if to say, do not test the boundary. Do not step further into a world that doesn't want you. You lower your gaze, hands still open, your breath uneven. You don't know the rules here, but one thing is clear. You've already broken them simply by existing in this space. Then, without a word, he turns and disappears into the darkness, his steps swallowed by the same silence that delivered him. No confrontation, no attack, just recognition and dismissal. You were judged, weighed, and found unworthy of notice. But somehow that's worse than violence. Because now you understand. This isn't just a world of animals and weather. It's a world with people. Not your people, not your ancestors. People who belong here, who know every tree, every track, every threat. People forged by the land you are failing to survive in. And to them, you are neither kin nor prey. You are nothing, You tried to speak because it was all you had left. Words, once your sharpest tools, now drift from your mouth like meaningless air. You say them softly at first, unsure whether sound will make you a target or a friend, but nothing in his face changes. No spark of recognition, no flicker of understanding. You try again, louder, adding a gesture, palms forward, arms raised, not aggressive, just pleading, universal, or so you thought. He watches without emotion, like you're making movements that hold no meaning in his world, like a bird dancing in the wrong sky. He doesn't tilt his head anymore, doesn't study you with curiosity. He simply stands still, unmoved. Whatever laws govern his people, whatever signs or sounds they respond to, you do not speak them. You are the wrong shape, the wrong rhythm, the wrong everything. You're not just an outsider. You're something that can't even be classified. You lower your hands slowly, feeling the gravity of his silence settle into your chest. He hasn't attacked, hasn't shouted, hasn't run. But his stillness says everything. There is no path forward here, no way to explain yourself, no way to barter, no name you could say that would grant you passage or mercy. You could scream your entire life into this forest, and not one word would reach him. This man, this silhouette of a life that belongs to the Stone Age, turns from you again, vanishing into the trees as quietly as he arrived. You're not worth his attention, not worth his effort, and that dismissal burns deeper than rejection, because in it is truth. You are not a threat, not a partner, not a kin. You are irrelevant. You're left with nothing but your breath, jagged and loud in the empty night. And now the fear returns, the kind that wraps itself around your ribs and pulls tighter with every exhale. Not just because you're alone, but because now you know for certain there will be no help, no rescue, no one to understand the sound of your voice if you scream. You begin to move again, not because you have a destination, but because standing still has become unbearable. Your feet drag, muscles screaming, skin torn where it has scraped too many branches or bled too many times. Every step sends pain through your legs, your joints stiff with exhaustion, your vision blurred not from tears, but from the slow collapse of energy. You lost the concept of comfort hours ago. Now you're losing the concept of direction. Your body feels foreign, each limb operating on instinct alone. Hunger has twisted into a dull ache, so constant, it blends with your thoughts. Thirst has turned your mouth into something unrecognizable, dry and cracked. Sleep has become a forbidden luxury, something your mind wants, but your body refuses to allow. Because sleep here isn't safe, and nothing about this place has ever been kind. Branches scrape across your arms, your cheeks. Your clothes, already thin and tattered, hang loose, clinging in the wrong places, soaked from sweat, mud, and blood. You don't look like yourself anymore. You don't feel like yourself either. You stumble more than you walk now, your legs barely lifting from the earth. But you keep moving, not to survive, but because stopping would mean surrendering completely. At some point, you fall, not dramatically, not with panic, just a slow, folding collapse into the dirt. Your knees hit first, then your shoulder, and finally your face, pressed into the cold ground that offers no comfort. You lie there, body throbbing, brain empty, and for the first time, you stop caring. Not out of despair, but because you've run out of thoughts, out of reactions, out of anything but the raw desire to last one more hour. Not a day, not a future, just the next hour. You don't even know if it's midnight or morning. Time has broken apart in your mind. The sky is still dark, the wind still cold, the shadows still moving. But now they don't feel like dangers to be escaped. They feel like the only thing left that knows you exist. You curl inward, some arms around your body, and hold still, not to rest, but to conserve something. Whatever thread is left of your energy, your will. You don't think about fire anymore, or food, or rescue. You think only of making it to the next moment, then the one after that, and the one after that. Survival has lost its glory. Now it's just numbers, counted out in heartbeats and breaths. Not because you believe you'll win, but because you haven't yet given up, even when everything else in you already has. Your body, which once obeyed without question, now begins to revolt. It doesn't happen all at once, but in waves, subtle at first, then relentless. Your fingers, numb from cold and exhaustion, stop responding the way you expect. When you reach for a branch to steady yourself, your grip fails. You stumble more. Your balance, once automatic, is gone. Muscles twitch without coordination, not from effort, but from breakdown. Your legs no longer carry you, they drag you. Your skin is raw from exposure. Tiny cuts have opened across your arms and legs, irritated by the constant rub of rough foliage, by grit and insects, and whatever oils coat the unfamiliar plants brushing past you. Your flesh, unused to this world, begins to break down. The bites you dismissed earlier now swell unnaturally. You scratch without thinking, and then wince as the itching becomes stinging. You look down and realize that your skin isn't just irritated, it's under siege. The infection has already begun. Your immune system, tuned to the sterile environments and filtered air of the modern world, has never fought against these bacteria. They are older than you, stronger, and utterly indifferent to your discomfort. Your body is simply a new surface to claim. There is no antiseptic, no cream, no clean water. You're rotting slowly, cell by cell. Your mouth tastes of metal and dryness. The thirst has become unbearable, but you can't drink. Not from the puddles, not from the slime-covered stones. The last time you tried, your stomach turned so violently you doubled over in pain. You've stopped trying since. Hunger gnaws with constant rhythm, but food is no longer a priority. Your body wouldn't process it anyway. It would reject it. All it wants now is warmth and rest, two things this world refuses to give. Even your eyes betray you. The forest that once surrounded you is now a blur of indistinct shapes. Your vision pulses at the edges, a flickering haze that makes it harder to tell what's real. The brightness of the sky at dawn stabs into your retinas, burning without mercy. Your pupils struggle to adjust, like they've forgotten how to survive a light that isn't filtered through glass and screen. You move like a shadow of yourself now, slow and mechanical. The pain in your feet has dulled, not because it has faded, but because it has become part of the background. You've stopped checking for injuries. There are too many. Scrapes, bruises, maybe even fractures. Your fingers are swollen, your face itches, your lips are cracked open at the corners. You no longer look like someone who lives in the 21st century. You don't look like someone who lives at all. The transformation is complete, not into something primitive or wild, but into something failing. You are decaying in real time, dismantled by a world that doesn't care how far you fell only that you do not belong. It has no malice, only law, and the law is simple: adapt or perish. You fall again, and this time you don't rise immediately. Lying still feels easier. There's no strength left to fight against the slope of the ground, against the pull of gravity. You press your cheek into the dirt, and though it's cold and damp, it's the first thing that's held you in hours. You close your eyes, not to sleep, but to stop seeing how fast you're unraveling. And it's here, in the slow unraveling, that understanding finally reaches you. It was never about the dangers you imagined, not the beasts in the dark, the cold in your lungs, the silence that echoed louder than any scream. The real threat was always the distance between who you are now and who they had to be then. It's not that you're too soft or too afraid. It's that you're from another time, another species, almost. One that traded instinct for convenience, resilience for comfort. The Stone Age doesn't hate you. It just doesn't recognize you. This world, this brutal, unfiltered, feral stretch of time, it wasn't built to make you suffer. It was built without you in mind at all. You were not designed for this fight. Your body knows it. Your mind has resisted, tried to impose logic and control and modern sense onto a place that predates all of it. But here, where survival is earned breath by breath, knowledge without skill is a burden. Intelligence without instinct is noise, and hope without action is just waiting to fail. There is no romance here, no noble struggle, no quiet heroism, only reality. And you, no matter how smart, strong, or determined, were never part of it. You were dropped into a world that functions without apology. And now that it has seen you, felt you, judged you, it quietly closes its doors. Not with violence, not with cruelty, but with indifference. You weren't defeated. You were never even invited.